Hey everybody, it's another cooking show with Katie. Oh my God, this feels so weird. I hope you guys can hear me. So you're gonna have to tell me. So I'll disconnect these if you cannot hear me. Oh, actually, true to form, I'm just gonna look at it myself and see how this is going on my own page. Hear me. Oh, you can hear me. What a coincidence. All right, so tonight we're just gonna cook a really simple keto meal. But I'm gonna do my intro first. And so I love having this thing because I used to have to like go up here. And I know this is like an awesome angle, but and oh, Shelly, I can hear you. That makes me happy. Finally, right? If you cannot hear me and you see, by the way, we found this out earlier. If you cannot see me and you see closed captions across the screen, it means your volume is off. So turn the volume on and then you should be able to hear me. So I am going to start with my little short intro and then I'll be back. Sorry, I gotta find it. Sorry, here it is. Boom! Let's do this. Oh, there's my little banner. So, like, what I'm realizing is I can do a lot of things with K, like keto with Katie, candor with Katie, like conversations with kids with Katie. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So, one of the things I'm going to tell you what we're going to cook tonight, and then I'm going to talk about it a little bit. It's going to be real easy, simple. Because one of the things I always hear, so if anybody wants to comment while you're waiting, I always hear, keto is so hard. It's so hard. But I didn't think about it from another perspective that a friend filled me in on. So I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm already boiling my water because, well, time. So the things for this easy meal, you're just gonna want chicken. And this is the Costco chicken that you buy, like the rotisserie chicken. And I have a bag in here, but I don't want to open the refrigerator. Can I? Okay, hang on, hang on. Oh, here's the chicken. Look at it. All right, it's this bag right here. So if you've ever been to Costco and you've ever seen this bag, buy it. It's like $11 or $12. It's already pre-peeled or whatever you call it. Okay. And it's super easy. And like to me, it's kind of weird because it's a little bit wet and it's a little bit pink. So I'm always like, ew. Okay, so you're gonna have this, and this is what you're gonna make here. And you're gonna want Brussels sprouts, and I've already washed them and halved them, didn't quarter them. But if you have like a tiny little one, feel free to leave that baby wide open. Okay. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh, what's going on? I only have a few like this today. Oh, it's good to see you. Let's make an easy keto meal. What do you think about that, guys? Okay. So you want this, and then you're gonna want. I'm gonna add jalapenos and onions, and I already chopped them up. Thyme. And today I'm gonna add, and this is just straight Parmesan cheese, and it's nice, fancy little flakes. And they're also so. One of the reasons why I do this is because I am gluten free. Okay, because I have the issues. So keto's easy for me to eat now, but I'm going to talk about this in a second. So black pepper, salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt, or you can be fancy and use this kind of pepper. Okay. And then this flat iron pepper grill. So I'm going to give my friend Chad Tipton a shout out. This is his recipe. So when we went, some of you that have been on here forever. Okay, so here's the deal. This does not have to be full. These do not have to be completely submersed to boil them. Okay. So you're going to just throw them in there. Oh, what? And then you're just probably going to want a little spoon or something. So they're just sitting in the water there. And then it's going to come back to a boil. I'm going to kind of let it boil, and then I'm going to cover it while I'm cooking the other things. Okay. So the other thing you're going to want is butter. Yeah, butter. It always says, cook with oil, but I am a butter. I'm a butter girl, and it's delicious. Okay. So, oh, we have a new comment. Pretty awesome. I got things over here. Brian says, gluten free. Yeah, because he's gluten free too. So, Brian, if you could share recipes with me. Hey, you know what? If you guys have recipes you want me to cook them, let's do it. I would love to do that. Okay. All right. So I've got real butter. This is Kerrygold butter. I usually leave it out. I put it in the fridge for a little while. And so I'm gonna cook with butter. I just am. You don't like it, use oil, do whatever you want. Okay. I love having I'm gonna leave this open. You can put garlic in there. Like I'm gonna add the onions and the jalapenos and this, but if some of you aren't very keen with like spices and stuff, don't add the jalapenos. I'm just crazy, so I'm gonna add the jalapenos. So basically, I'm just gonna kind of let the and these are like nonstick pans, but I always add a little butter anyway. I mean, because butter. And then I'll teach you how to do this because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't like Brussels sprouts and whatever," but this is like a really easy way to make it, and it's delicious. But if you don't like Brussels sprouts, substitute it with, broccoli. Um, what are those long stick things that are green? Healthy. You eat them with salmon usually. Uh, Asparagus. Asparagus. You can make asparagus. You can do any of that stuff. You can make a sauce. Do whatever you want. Okay. So I'm just gonna heat this up. I'm gonna add my onions. This is how I feel so fancy. Okay. I'm gonna add my onions. I'm gonna add my jalapenos first because this chicken and I'm a non-de-seeder. I do not take the seeds out of my jalapenos. Now this is on high right now. I'm gonna put it on like a medium high. And I'm gonna cook these first here for a minute. So you're just gonna see how easy this meal is. It's insane. And then like I'm kind of boring, I guess, because I don't really care if I eat the same thing a few nights in a row. I can make super fancy things. I'm actually a pretty good chef. I've said before, but like maybe you guys believe it or maybe you don't, because I've had some disastrous things on here, but that's funny. I like it when I try something new, like my spider cheese balls last year. So I'm gonna start bringing that stuff back more. Like I said, no production team, so here you are on the top of my fridge so that you can see all of my stuff. Okay, so here I am. I'm gonna kind of let these brown a little bit. I should have put a fan on myself because it's hot. But I do have air conditioning again. For those of you who don't know, my air conditioning went out the other night. And I was like, oh, well, the power must have went out. And then I looked and I was like, oh, the lights in my kitchen were still on. I always have these little Christmas lights on. And I was like, oh, crap. But my air conditioning unit's from like 1996. And you think, whoa. So the guy came over and I was like, I think it's the fuse. Because I stood there and I thought to myself, do I want to push the breaker or whatever? And I was like, yeah, maybe I will. And then something flew off, of course, and then I couldn't put it back on. So I thought, let's go to the fuse. So the guy came over and he unhooked another thing and hooked it up and was like, it's the fuse. So he went to Home Depot. So I got to stay at my house last night, but I had a friend, I had messaged a friend. I was like, hey, can I stay at your house? Because I could have gotten a hotel, but what are you going to do? So it's really nice. Oh, Jennifer is popping on. Taylor, yay. So she said, you motivated me. I'm camping in South Dakota and started eating Brussels sprouts in a cheese stick, all because you mentioned cheese and Brussels sprouts. Oh my God. I love you so much. That's amazing. Good job. Yeah, well, to me, anything with Brussels sprouts is good. Bacon and Brussels. Now you could put bacon in here too. You can. I think Chad Tipton does that. I just forgot to today, but you don't have to. Okay, so it's boiling now. I don't know if you can see that, right? So I'm gonna take the lid and I'm gonna stick it on top, and then I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Sometimes I kind of push the lid to the side a bit. Like you guys, this is so easy. But one thing I didn't think about was I was being judgmental, I think. So I apologize. I'm drinking busy tonight for this Canada with Katie. This one happens to match my outfit. So that's very important. Just kidding. I always like to have a couple when I'm doing this. Not always. Anywho, I didn't think about, so I was talking to another friend. Okay, so the onions are starting to brown. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just use my fingers and sort of break apart this chicken a little bit. And I don't know why, and I don't know if you can see it in there, but like I said, it's a little bit pink from Costco. It's cooked. But I mean, in my head, it's like, okay, well, I'll just cook it a little bit more myself then. Oh, there we go. We're just gonna throw it in there. I'm gonna kind of rinse my hands off for a second with some soap. Hi. Well, hello there. So it's pink. I don't know if you can see it from there. It will not be pink by the time it's done cooking. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. Okay. And this is a very easy meal to clean up as well, as you can see. So I check on the Brussels sprouts, and then I need to grab a fork. 1 second. I'm always so prepared, aren't I? This is how you're going to check the Brussels sprouts to see if they're done. Okay. So I want to know how many of you are eating keto out there. People are always talking about it being a diet. It's more of a lifestyle. I'm going to add more butter because it's a little dry in there. Butter, 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 butter. So the thing is, I mostly eat it because I have gluten issues, like I told you, but we've had friends, Shelly Edney is one of them, on the show who, oh, I better take a sip of this. We've had people who have saved their lives. My broker, one of them, by eating keto because they're type 2 diabetics. And so I was thinking about this, and people are like, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. And I was like, what is so hard about it? Okay, cool. I'll get back to this. So remind me if I don't, because you know me. So yes. So Shelly says, you know, I am having keto for 3 years. And Shelly, I honestly think it might be 4 years, because I think it was 4 years that we did the show here, back when you can invite people on. Do you remember that? And now I'm super fancy with StreamYard, and I can have up to 10 guests. But yeah, and so Shelly's got a really cool story. If you care to share it again, Shelly, that would be fantastic. If not, that's fine too. All what you're comfortable with. But it does. So there's a lot of people. There's naysayers, and there's people that say you can't stay on it forever. And I think, everything's to each his own. And then if you're not diabetic or whatever, I tend to do dirty keto. Like, I probably shouldn't be having this right now. I eat keto most of the time, but then I go through my phases where I eat my gluten-free breads and whatnot. But I just wanted to show you tonight how easy it is. And then the other thing is, when I said, people say it's so hard. And it's funny because I'm not the keto guru like Shelly is. Um, oh, this is cool. So Tamika says, go ahead, girl. Cool setup. Well, thank you. I know this is like, whoa, you're way up there. But the thing is, a friend reminded me that the reason why people probably say it's hard is because it's a lifestyle adjustment. So, excuse me, if you're one with type 2 diabetes, let's say, and you have to start eating this way for your health, it's an adjustment. So when I found out I had gluten issues, um, it's like gluten intolerance is what it's called. So I didn't want to do it. I was hungry all the time. So at the beginning of my gluten-free journey, I was eating a lot of potatoes and rice and stuff as fillers. And then I figured it out. And then I remembered I had done Atkins years ago, which is, basically the prequel to, keto. And I was super healthy and I loved it. Okay. So, all right, some of these are getting a little brown, but it's fine. It's amazing. Sometimes if you want, you could take a lid and put it on here too, but that's cooking up very nicely. I have another comment here. Shelly says, my mom has been as well, and she is not diabetic. So yeah, I mean, I've known 3 or 4 people personally who have cured themselves of diabetes and from eating keto. And I think you have to do it for the rest of your life. But if you want to talk about being holistically healthy, it's just something you can do. So you can be a naysayer, that's fine. You don't have to do keto, but you don't have to always poo-poo it and talk shit. And I've had friends that don't believe gluten issues are real, and it's like, you're not living my life. So really, it doesn't upset me, but I'm like, God, I mean, that's kind of rude, right? If you decided to think that I was making it up and you had a meal at your house, like sometimes I'm like, are you sure you want me over for dinner? Because I mean, people don't think about it. Because I went to dinner at a client's house one time, and they made chicken and stuff, and I was like, oh, and it was marinated, and I was like, what is it marinated in? And we looked at the bag, and it had wheat in it, so I couldn't eat it. And they're like, oh my god! But they had leftover frittata, so I had that for dinner. But it's funny because I'm like, are you sure you want me to come over? Because I'm kind of a pain in the ass, So I'm gonna add. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add this delicious flat iron pepper grill. Now this one is chipotle ancho and habanero. It's good. It's spicy. So I'm just gonna add. I don't know. Probably added too much. Whatever. Just add it in there. Spin it around a little bit. Woo! Okay. And this is like, doesn't it look delicious? I mean, you can add mushrooms, whatever you want. So now this is like telling me it's kind of done. So Brussels sprouts are done when they're soft, when your fork can easily go through them. Okay. So here's how I roll. So I turn it off. We're almost done here. Turn it off, and then I drain it. I have that plate in there, but that's fine. So I drain it. I have turned the oven off, or the whatever that's called right there. Leave this out for a second. I take butter, stick it in there. Okay. We're done with this too, so I actually can put this right here. Put a little salt and pepper in there. I like the sea salt. I don't know if you like sea salt. You could probably put flat iron peppers in there too, but you really don't need them since they're on your chicken. And then I take the lid and it's because see how it's steaming? And you just roll it around. Like how easy is that, right? And then it's like nice and buttery. Look at that steam. Oh. So then you just get your plate out and you just put whatever you want on here. So you can make a sauce too. You can make a gluten-free sauce, like green chili sauce is usually pretty good. So put a little chicken on there. Put a little of your Brussels sprouts on there. This is probably serve 2 people. Like I always make extras so then I can have some for lunch tomorrow. Check it out. So this chicken now has no pink on it, but it's got that awesome flat iron grill. It's really spicy. Oh my God. Tamika says sea salt is the best. It is, isn't it? Oh my God, this is like super spicy. Looks good. It's delicious. I probably didn't need the jalapenos, but it's fine. So that's gonna be my dinner, and if I want more, if I'm hungry, I can eat more. That's fine. So just to end it, I wasn't thinking about when people said it's hard. I was thinking they were just like trying to do extravagant menus and whatnot and foods, and I didn't think about when you have to make a lifestyle change. It is hard. It's a super big adjustment. So sometimes I'm like, God, I wish I would have known when I was a kid so I didn't know what I was missing. So Brian says, okay, when I was diagnosed over a decade ago, almost everything had gluten in it. Yes, all Campbell's soup, spices. It was ridiculous. I dare you to go gluten and dairy free, especially back in the day. And I've said that a lot because I've been gluten free for, I think it's been like 8 years now. And it's easier now than it was when I started. I didn't realize how much shit had gluten in it, like shredded cheese. But I think now it's different. I think they use cornstarch and stuff now because just to make it easier for everybody. But that's the thing. I didn't realize that anything you do when you change, what you normally do is hard. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, you guys. It's not a diet. You can use it to lose weight, sure. But you should really kind of stick to it mostly. I mean, and you can do all your research, and there's people that'll do, it's kind of like the intermittent fasting thing. I talked about that too. So you can do it and then, kind of just have a day of cheating and then kind of kickstart yourself again, So Alexandra Monroe says, hey girlfriend, I need one of your recipes so I can put it in a cookbook. Okay. Well, this is not really a big recipe and it's my friend. So, and I don't have any original ones, I don't think, but I'll let you know. So anywho, just do what makes you feel good, but just realize that if you are doing keto, if you want to do keto, you don't have to make keto bread, you don't have to make zucchini bread, you don't have to do all the things. You can make a meal like this, which is really, really delicious. I mean, I'm going to show it to you. This is really delicious and it's very rich because it's made with butter. Okay, and you can use oil if you want. Do it however you want. Make it, less buttery or whatever. Shelly says, great recipe, but add more butter. Need that exactly. Well, and you could add avocado. Shelly, that's one of my difficulties, is that I don't get enough fat sometimes. But I'm telling you, I could eat Brussels sprouts 3 times a day. That's all I've got, my friends. I love you. And I need to do DIYs more. So I'll take I think we talked about this before, more interviews. looking to interview more Highland Games people, but other people. So if you have a skill or a talent, and one thing I'm also thinking of is if you want to do a cooking show together, I can have up to 10 people at the same time, and we can do a recipe together and try and make it and see how everybody's recipes turn out. So Tamika says Brussels sprouts are the best. I know they're so good. There are people that are I hate it, but I love them so much. So thanks for joining me, you guys. A little shorter tonight. It's just sweet and simple. And I love you, and I'll see you next week. And I might be putting some questions out there for you to see how I can spice it up a bit. So have a great evening, and I'll see you next week. Oh, send me recipes too. That'd be great. All right. Peace and love.